G'day mates, we are less than 4 days into Season 3 and Epic has already vaulted the Shockwaves and the Heavy Sniper from the game. They've added a new mechanic called Storm Sickness that basically makes healing off in Storm completely impossible. Big leaks have just come out about a new first-person game mode for Fortnite that is being developed, and if you've been playing and the servers feel extra terrible, I want to talk about why that is and show you some of the most ridiculous clips you've ever seen that have pros pretty much losing their mind trying to play the game at the moment. So let's talk about. Let's just jump into it. We have our first major competitive update of the season. It's exactly what I predicted would happen in yesterday's video, and I'm very sad to say it came true. Fortnite status tweeted out today, we have removed both shockwave grenades and heavy sniper rifles from competitive playlists. We will continue to monitor your gameplay and make competitive adjustments during the preseason as necessary. We intend to make adjustments in a faster manner than in previous seasons. That is awesome that Epic is making quick adjustments, and certain items in the past, I believe, were beyond fixing. There was no way you could balance them. You just had to remove them from the game. Tanks would be a perfect example in competitive last season. But I don't like this new trend of Epic of being like, oh, here's a new item. Oh, you guys don't like this item? Let's take it away. Why can't we go back to balancing things? I'm just so sick of competitive being the exact same loophole for the last 2 seasons. Now it's going to be like this for another 3 months of a very long season. I believe Epic is able to and could, if they tried, balance these weapons to make them more appealing and more competitive, but also keep some of the fun and flavor of a new season. These were the 2 biggest game-changing weapons added to the game, and now they've been removed from competitive yet again. And I understand it's because people complain, but I can think of numerous ways to try to balance these weapons. Shockwaves, for example, maybe they only drop in single stacks. You only get 1 at a time, and maybe you can only carry 2 or 3, so there's nowhere near as many of them. Maybe they don't break builds. They're just like an impulse grenade that sends you higher and you don't take fall damage. Maybe they don't impact opponents. They only impact you, so you can't shockwave people off. Heavy snipers, maybe they only drop out of care packages, so you don't have 2 people finding 2 heavy snipes to double heavy snipe. Maybe they only spawn with 5, 7, or 10 bullets, and once you use them all, they're gone, so you can't just heavy snipe at everything that moves. These are all examples of ways that you could balance these weapons rather than just taking them out. And after balancing them, if they're still broken and they're still bad for the game, deemed by Epic, or whether pros keep complaining, because I get it, pros complain a lot, then you take them out of the game. It shouldn't just be, here's a new item, you don't like it, I'm gonna take it away. That is just not good development. Epic has made great seasons in the past, and I know they can do it. I don't know why they're not trying. And again, I know you guys are gonna say in the comments, it's just because pros whinge and complain. I get that, but pros have been whinging and complaining since the dawn of Fortnite. It's just what happens. They will complain, they will always complain, but it's Epic's job, in my opinion, to try to hear those complaints and make things work without just removing them, or even just giving straight into the complaints. My biggest reasoning for this is, yes, they were really fun to watch in tournaments, but I get that pros were miserable playing with them, and I don't think every pro hated them. I think some people did enjoy the change, but the main issue is the fact that, again, this is now affecting Arena. Arena's back to being one of the most boring loopholes we've ever seen in the game, and it's going to be like that for the next 3 months. At least if we're going to keep taking these things out of competitive, can we just make Arena a different loophole and make a scrim game mode? Because no one wants to play Arena right now without heavy snipes and shockwaves or anything fun in the game. And I get it, Rift to Go's are now in the game instead of launch pads, but Rift to Go is just a noob's launch pad. It's really easy to use. Everyone now has them and everyone's using them. There's 40 people just flying through the sky in end games. They didn't have to try and find the pads. They didn't have to use the pad properly. They just get to teleport into the sky. It's not a lot better for the game, but if that's the only main change to the game, then again, I would argue this is an update, not a new season. The new AR, the hammer AR, almost no one's using it if they find a burst. The new 2-shot shotgun, almost no one's using if they find a striker. The new DMR, just almost no one's using in competitive. It's decent for getting surge tags if people are over peaking, but so is the burst rifle, and it also has a lot of other uses. So again, this is just the same loophole as last season. That's the point I'm trying to get across. So I know people in the comments are going to be upset. People are always upset at me when I give negative opinions like this, but I'm trying to just get the idea across that the biggest issue with Fortnite right now, at least competitively, is the lack of adjustments to weapons instead of just vaulting them. Epic has made it very clear they are done with the Storm heal-off strategy. They are sick of this happening in their game, and they have now added a mechanic to make it impossible to do zone heal-off strategies. So much so that we had Qrei, which was the original founder of the zone heal-off, or like the modern zone heal-off strategy. He has now announced that he is quitting doing heal-offs in Fortnite, and there is no way to beat this mechanic. Obviously, Vontrex has become quite popular recently for doing this Storm heal-off strategy as well. I wonder if he is going to be able to find a way around it, but if you guys don't know, this new mechanic called Storm Sickness as described by Qrei. It works by dealing 3 times the damage of a given zone phase. For example, for a 5 tick, it deals 15. It turns on after specific zone damage received. More or less, I would estimate it to be around 600 to 1,000. We tried to bypass it using the reboot van, but while it helped temporarily and we didn't receive increased damage, after a while, about 1 to 2 minutes, it just removed us from the game one by one as if we had cheated. This cannot be more clear. Epic is not just nerfing heals here and there. They are saying we're done with the storm healing off strategy. We're adding a mechanic specifically to stop it. And to the point where if you try to get around it, you are treated like a cheater. It is actually kind of ridiculous to see. Whether you love the heal off strategy, whether you hate it, Epic has made their stance. It is now gone forever. And a lot of people are super happy to see this. Some people have lost money and have not qualified for tournaments, or just lost pubs and arena games, losing that satisfaction of getting the victory out to a team they couldn't beat. Meanwhile, a lot of people, I imagine fans of Qrei and Vontrex and players like that, are going to be upset to see it go. So let me know in the comments, are you happy it's gone or are you not happy it's gone? Epic is potentially working on an update to Fortnite that could be even bigger than zero builds. Hypex making a tweet addressing this image, which is first person in Fortnite. Now, this image has been going around for a while now. As you can see, it's actually taken in early chapter 2, so it's at least been in the works for a couple of years now. Hypex said this update though, Epic began working on some stuff about first person camera mode, but there's no other info about it at the moment, and it looks like it's still in early development. Would work really well for the zero build modes, and that's what has me most excited. When I first saw this image, someone asked me about my opinion of first person in Fortnite, and I've always said it would be absolutely terrible, only because of the building. It would just be so confusing and so jarring, figuring out where you're going. Editing would just feel really weird. I just don't think it'd be a great experience. But that was before the addition of zero builds. I think with zero builds, this would actually be so much more fun than third person. I've never really enjoyed third person battle royales that much. So PUBG, Warzone, Fortnite third person, without the building, for example, just being able to see players around corners or lay in a floor and see someone through a window or through a ledge, it's just so irritating. If I'm trying to push through a field to get to a house, the person laying on the roof of the house should not be able to see me and then peek up whenever they want and shoot me, and I had no idea they were there. If that was first person, to see someone, you have to make yourself visible so I can shoot you back. It just makes it so much more fair. To me, it makes it so much more engaging. You're running around and yeah, you can't see as much, but that's what makes it more exciting. So personally, if it was zero builds, I would actually love this in Fortnite, and I would be more tempted to play zero builds than I am at the moment. My only concern of this, especially for smaller regions, is splitting queues. We already have solos, duos, trios, squads building, solos, duos, trios, squad no building, solos, duos, trios, arena, creative, all of that. If you then add first person, which is another game mode and queue for each of those game modes, it's gonna start to really slow things down. And then what you find with battle royales, when they add too many queues and those queues start to become less popular, they die exponentially. People are enjoying the game less, or they're moving on for the game, so queues get longer. Then people who do want to play the game are over the long queues, so they leave, which makes the queues longer, and then more people leave. And again, you get the idea, it dies exponentially. So I think this could be a cool addition to the game, but Epic does have to be careful how they implement it. What do you think? Would you like zero build first person, or would you just like first person in general? Last up, I wanted to talk about a topic a lot of you guys keep sending me clips for and keep asking me about: the servers. They are potentially the worst they've ever been since the skirmish days. Now, I'm going to have my editor throw up some clips next to me for those of you guys who haven't seen them. This is what games look like right now in custom scrims the pros are trying to run right now to practice for tournaments. They are basically unplayable. This isn't just like, oh, I don't have 240 frames and my edits are a bit slower. No, people are just stuck in the open. On their screen, they're moving around, but on the enemy screen, they're just standing there. People are pumping each other in the head, but there's no damage. They're teleporting through builds. Like, I don't have to explain why this is absolutely horrendous. This reminds me of the skirmish days, watching like Myth try to rotate through endgames and he's stuck in Storm and he keeps teleporting and he can't move. But again, I want to argue it's not just like this in scrims. Customs are always worse than tournaments. They've never been this bad before, but I would argue from playing arena and pubs for about almost 20 hours in the past 2 days, I have never had servers feel this bad ever. I have traded probably at least 8 times in the past 2 days where I shoot someone, they shoot me, and we both die. That usually happens like once or twice a season. It's happening to me like 5 times a day. The amount of times I go to put a wall and the wall is down and then I get shot through it. And I don't want it to seem like I'm complaining. A lot of these times I would go back and watch and I'm trying to figure out, am I just being dramatic? Am I just being a baby because I'm not happy that I died? But after seeing clips like that in customs and talking to some of my viewers who also agree that the servers feel absolutely terrible, I did want to address it and bring it up because hopefully Epic can get it fixed. We do have a little while before tournaments come up, so I know we aren't exactly in the middle of FNCS, but it is very scary that even a couple days into the season, they are this bad, because I don't think I can remember a single season that 3 days in were this terrible. Yes, Epic normally makes them better and better, and they're a bit laggier at the start, but this is basically unplayable right now if you're trying to do customs. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.